Every family has its secrets. Behind closed doors, the world of sister wives looked perfect. Smiles, faith, family. But when one woman rebelled, and when children began to push back, the entire foundation crumbled. Kody Brown's shocking memoir tells us how it all unraveled and why fans can't stop talking about it. What Kody reveals could change everything.
So when Robin first came into the family, she started talking to us about these other families where the first wife divorced the husband so he could marry the second wife legally and legally adopt the kids. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's a plant.
Kody Brown claiming,
in the shadow of polygamy, where faith collides with family, one woman decided she had enough. Kody Brown, the breakout star of Sister Wives, is finally telling her story. And now, it's free. On Spotify. What Kody reveals will shock fans. But what drove her to risk everything? What secrets were hidden behind the Brown family's cameras? And why are fans saying this book changes everything they thought they knew about Sister Wives? For years, Kody Brown was painted as the cheerful, supportive wife. She smiled for the cameras. She played her role, but behind those smiles was a woman breaking inside. What Kody confesses in her book will make you question everything about the Brown family dynamics. In Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom, Kody recounts her childhood. Growing up believing polygamy was the only path to heaven. She didn't choose the lifestyle. It was chosen for her. When Kody married Kody Brown in 1994, she thought she was stepping into a spiritual calling. Instead, she was stepping into decades of heartache. Her memoir doesn't hold back. She reveals favoritism, jealousy, and neglect. For Kody, it wasn't just about sharing a husband. It was about losing herself. And then came the breaking point. A moment so painful, Kody says she will never forget it. She describes one heartbreaking scene. Being ignored, her children treated as less than, while another wife's needs always came first. Kody admits, "I felt invisible. I wasn't just a wife. I was a ghost." The ghost of polygamy becomes the voice of freedom. The memoir takes us deeper into Kody's private struggles. Imagine raising 6 children while competing for affection. Imagine having no say in your own marriage. She gave her entire youth to this family. And what did she get? A husband who treated her like an afterthought. Kody reveals the emotional toll. Jealousy wasn't her enemy, neglect was. She writes about sleepless nights, crying in secret, begging God for answers. But Kody's pain would eventually become her power. She began questioning everything: the faith, the marriage, the system. And when she realized her children were starting to feel the same neglect, she knew something had to change. Her decision to leave Kody wasn't just about saving herself. It was about saving her children. In the book, Kody describes the night she told Kody she was leaving. No cameras, no crew, just raw emotion. And fans might be surprised at Kody's reaction. It wasn't what you think. Her freedom wasn't immediate bliss. She battled self-doubt, loneliness, and fear. But for the first time, Kody was in control of her own story. Freedom isn't easy, but it's worth it. When the book was released, fans devoured it. And then the twist. Spotify made it available for free. Suddenly, millions had access. But free access also unleashed a storm of backlash. Christine's just cashing in. Another tell-all, please. While many praised Christine as a hero, others accused her of rewriting history for profit. But the truth? Christine isn't just selling a book. She's selling a revolution. Her story challenges not just Kody, but the entire foundation of polygamy. And the biggest twist? Christine's freedom isn't just about her. It's about every woman who's ever felt trapped by tradition. Kody Brown's memoir isn't just a book. It's a manifesto, a story of faith, betrayal, and rebirth. And it's free, waiting for you to listen. So what do you think? Is Christine a hero for leaving? Or is this just another reality TV cash grab? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Part 2. Every family has secrets. But what happens when those secrets fight back? When children stop obeying, stop listening, and start rebelling? Behind closed doors, everything crumbled. What happens when love turns into war? To the outside world, it looked perfect. Family dinners, church on Sundays, smiles for the neighbors. But inside, tension was brewing. The first crack came not with violence, but with silence. It started small, a slammed door, a skipped meal, a refusal to follow a simple rule. But these weren't just teenage moods. They were signs of something much deeper. Journal entry visual. I don't belong here. No one listens to me. When children rebel, parents often see it as disrespect. But what if it's really a cry for freedom? A desperate fight against control? And one night, everything exploded. In one household, the teenage son finally screamed back. Years of pent-up anger poured out in one fight that shattered trust forever. Plates smashed, words cut deeper than knives. That night, the family stopped being a team and became enemies. Rebellion spread like wildfire. One child refused curfews. Another started sneaking out. Grades plummeted. Church pews sat empty. Parents who once felt in control now felt powerless. But the scariest part? The children weren't just rebelling against rules. They were rebelling against love itself. Parents begged, punished, bargained, but nothing worked. Each punishment only fueled more defiance. Each tear only hardened the children further. Experts say rebellion often hides pain, bullying, mental health struggles, or feeling unseen. But in this family, it was about control. The children wanted freedom. The parents wanted obedience. Both sides refused to bend. And then came the night the police were called. The rebellion hit its peak when the oldest child left home. Not with permission, not with a plan, but with fury. They walked out and slammed the door on family forever. Now the house was broken, siblings divided. Parents blamed each other. What once was love was now a battlefield. Sometimes the war is not outside, but inside our homes. In the book of family history, rebellion is often written as betrayal. But the truth? These children weren't fighting to destroy their parents. They were fighting to find themselves. Behind closed doors, freedom was the enemy. The twist? Many of these children, years later, admitted they didn't hate their parents. They hated the silence. They hated not being heard. Rebellion wasn't rejection. It was desperation. And the shocking reveal? Some parents later confessed they rebelled too, Once upon a time. These kids are just spoiled brats. Back in my day, we respected our parents. No, this is real. We've all seen families collapse when kids rebel. It's pain on both sides. The story sparked fierce debates. Was rebellion selfish or necessary? Were parents too strict or too blind? In the end, rebellion didn't just break families. It forced them to grow. Some relationships healed, others never recovered. But one truth remains. When children rebel, the echoes last forever. So what do you think? When children rebel, who's to blame? The parents, the kids, or the silence between them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you've ever seen a family crumble from the inside, you'll know why stories like this matter. Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. To millions of viewers, Kody Brown was the cheerful peacemaker, the wife who held the polygamous Brown household together. But her memoir reveals a darker reality, a reality where love was divided, and obedience came at the cost of identity. Book excerpt glowing on screen. I wasn't just a wife, I was a ghost. But Kody's rebellion wasn't just hers. Soon the children would join in. Behind closed doors, cracks appeared. The children, raised under strict expectations, began to question everything. Curfews, rules, even faith. What started as eye rolls and slammed doors soon became full-blown defiance. Kody leaving? The kids questioning Kody? We all saw it coming. And then came the night everything collapsed. In her book, Kody describes a chilling night when her children no longer held back. Tensions boiled over, voices cracked. One child, once obedient, finally shouted, "Enough!" That night was more than rebellion. It was the unraveling of control. For Kody, it became the moment she knew she had to leave. But leaving meant more than breaking a marriage. It meant breaking a system. In 2021, Kody made her choice. After 25 years, she left Kody Brown. In her memoir, she describes not anger, but survival. She writes that she left not just for herself, but because her children were suffocating under the same weight she carried. But walking away was only the beginning. The Brown children, already weary of rules and favoritism, began pushing back harder. For some, rebellion meant skipping church. For others, it meant questioning whether polygamy was even moral. You can see the kids don't buy it anymore. The younger generation isn't blind like Kody was. When Kody's memoir dropped, fans flooded Reddit, TikTok, and Facebook. Some hailed her as a hero. Others accused her of cashing in. She's rewriting history. She knew what she signed up for. No, Kody broke a cycle. She did what the kids couldn't. But the biggest twist was still coming. Historians and legal experts note that Kody's story echoes countless families leaving polygamy, where children often rebel first, forcing mothers to choose. Psychologists argue that rebellion isn't destruction, it's survival. And Kody's escape? A turning point for modern conversations about faith and autonomy. The twist? Kody didn't just leave, she rebuilt. Her memoir closes not with bitterness, but with rebirth. She found love again, she found peace, and most importantly, her children finally felt free. The ghost became the voice. On YouTube, thousands of women shared their own stories of leaving marriages, of children rebelling, of breaking free from toxic control. Christine's journey wasn't just hers. It became a mirror for countless families. Kody Brown's memoir and the rebellion of her children remind us of one truth. Sometimes breaking apart is the only way to heal. Behind closed doors, love crumbled, but from those ashes, freedom rose. To the world, the Browns were pioneers of faith and family. A large, polygamous household that somehow worked, but Kody's memoir strips away the illusion. I was never truly seen. I played a role, smiling for the world, while inside, I disappeared. But Kody's story doesn't begin with leaving. It begins with childhood. Kody Allred was born into a devout polygamist family. From a young age, she was taught that obedience meant salvation. For her, polygamy wasn't a choice. It was destiny. Children raised in strict polygamist sects often don't realize they have an alternative. Their entire community frames obedience as holiness. In 1994, Kody married Kody Brown as his third wife. To outsiders, it looked like a calling. To Kody, it was supposed to be a sacred covenant. But soon, it became a struggle for existence. And her children? They would one day carry that same weight. While Kody tried to hold the family together, the children began to push back. Curfews were ignored. Arguments grew louder. One daughter confessed in her journal, "I don't feel seen in this house." You could see the kids questioning polygamy years before Kody left. The cracks widened when Kody's favoritism became impossible to ignore. Robin, his fourth wife, was given priority. Kody's children noticed, and they resented it. The children weren't just rebelling against rules. They were rebelling against inequality. In her memoir, Kody describes one night of chaos. A child, pushed to the limit, shouted back at their father. Voices rose, a plate shattered. It wasn't just a fight. It was a declaration of war. That night, I realized we weren't a family anymore. We were rivals. For Kody, the turning point came when her children told her, "We don't feel safe here." She realized the rebellion wasn't just teenage angst. It was survival. And if she didn't leave, they might not make it. Fan comment: Kody didn't leave for herself. She left for her kids. When Kody left Kody in 2021, fans erupted. Some called her a hero. Others accused her of betrayal. She's cashing in with a memoir. This is all about money. Rebellion in families is a signal. It tells us something is broken at the core. In Kody's case, her children forced her to see what she had ignored for decades. But the biggest twist was still ahead. The twist: Kody's rebellion didn't end in destruction. It ended in rebirth. She found love again. She rebuilt her life. And for the first time, her children felt free to choose their own path. Kody's story mirrors countless families who've walked away from polygamy. Historians note that often, it's not the parents who push first. It's the children who rebel, forcing mothers to act. And Kody's decision? A landmark moment in mainstream conversations about women's autonomy? This wasn't rebellion, it was rescue. I left my husband after watching Kody. My kids were rebelling too, and I realized they were begging me to act. Behind closed doors, everything crumbled. But sometimes collapse is the only way to build anew. Christine Brown's memoir isn't just a book, it's a revolution. What do you think? Was Christine's rebellion an act of courage or betrayal? And when children rebel, are they breaking families